My name is Ethan. My girlfriend Mara and I decided to disappear for a weekend. In the city, we're always stressed. Work, traffic, noise. We booked a small cabin in the pines, deep enough that cell signal was spotty at best. The idea was simple. Escape, hike, read, rest. We arrived Friday evening. The drive-in was long and winding. Trees pressed close to the road. Shadows stretched even before night fully fell. The cabin was rustic, off-grid, with a wood stove, a small porch, and windows that looked out into a sea of trunks and underbrush. We spent most of Saturday hiking trails. We found an old path that looked barely used. The map showed no side trails there, so we thought maybe it was just overgrown. We followed it anyway. Something about its seclusion felt intriguing. By late afternoon, we noticed something odd. As we walked, the forest grew unnaturally still. No birds, no insects, or very few. The air felt heavy, as though we were breathing in static. We paused several times just to listen. Then Mara saw it first. In the distance, between two trees, a movement. She froze and whispered, "Did you see that?" I peered. At first I thought it was a deer silhouette. But the shape was wrong. Elongated limbs, maybe crouching. Too tall, too angular. By the time I got a better look, it blended back into shadow. We turned back, faster now. The trail seemed to twist, branch off, then converge, in places we didn't remember. The forest floor changed subtly, some patches of moss darker, ground that felt softer, like it had been disturbed. As dusk approached, we heard something behind us. A snap, a twig, broken, low. We stopped. Our hearts pounding. I whispered, "It's okay, probably an animal." Mara was gripping my arm. We kept going, trying to retrace our steps. The cabin was still a few kilometers away. The forest was denser now. Branches snagged at our clothes. The path grew narrower. Then we heard footfalls behind us. Slow, deliberate. Not animal. Heavier, measured. We stopped. I turned slowly. At first nothing. Then between trees we glimpsed it again. Tall, gaunt, limbs bent in unnatural angles, eyes reflecting faint glints. It didn't run. It just moved, gliding, stalking. We bolted. I don't know how else to explain it. We sprinted, lunged through underbrush, jumped over logs, stumbled. The thing's footfalls followed, but never too close. It was like it paced us, letting us think we were getting away, but always there. At some point, we lost the trail. Darkness was falling. We had no headlamps, only our flashlights, which felt inadequate. The woods swallowed the beams. Shadows stretched into monstrous shapes. Every rustle, every sigh of wind sounded like a whisper, a breath, possibly its breath. Then the thing screeched, a sound so unnatural, warping, half animal, half mechanical. It echoed. My heart nearly stopped. Mara screamed. We ran blind, chasing patches of moonlight that fell through the canopy, hoping each clearing meant the cabin. Finally, as we burst through a thicket, we saw the cabin. Lights on inside. We must have left a lamp on. We crashed onto the porch, trembling. The door unlocked. We threw ourselves inside, closed and locked it. We watched out the windows, scanning the forest's edge. No sign of it. That night we hardly slept. Every creak of wood, every whisper of wind, had us jolt upright. At one point I thought I saw something press its face against the window for a moment. Too distorted, elongated. Then it was gone. We left at first daylight the next morning. We packed in silence, didn't dare go outside. I dared one glance out. Nothing but mist and trees. We made it back to civilization. Eventually. I tried to rationalize. Maybe a hermit, Someone deformed living in the woods. But nothing fit. No sound of footsteps on the porch, no footprints outside, nothing left behind except this hollow, echoing fear. I still find myself thinking it didn't chase us to kill us, it seemed to study us, pacing, stalking, and when we escaped, it vanished. The woods took it back. If ever you hike deep enough off trails, into the silent places where nature barely breathes, be very careful, because something might already be waiting. This happened to me and my fiancé 2 years ago, and to this day we don't really talk about it much. We had decided to spend a weekend in the mountains. A friend of mine had told me about an old fire watch tower that you could actually rent out for overnight stays. It sounded rustic, adventurous, and private. Exactly what we wanted. The tower stood alone, at the end of a dirt road surrounded by dense woods. From the top you could see miles of trees in every direction. We hiked up with our bags, lit some lanterns, and settled in. The whole place creaked with every step, but it felt safe enough. That night, after making dinner on a small camp stove, we sat by the railing, watching the forest go dark. It was quiet, except for crickets and the occasional hoot of an owl. But around midnight something changed. The forest went silent. Dead silent. I remember leaning over the railing, shining my flashlight down at the tree line. That's when I noticed it. A shape standing between the trees. Not moving. Just there. Too far to make out details. But tall. Too tall. I nudged my fiancée. She saw it too. We both stood frozen, whispering back and forth, trying to convince each other it was a tree stump or our eyes playing tricks. But then it shifted. Not a step, just a twitch, like it had turned its head upward, toward us. We backed inside, locked the door, and tried to calm down. From up there, we thought, we were safe. Nothing could climb 50 feet of steel ladder. But around 2 a.m., we heard it. The faint clink of metal. A sound that grew rhythmic. Someone, or something, was climbing the ladder. At first, we told ourselves it could be the wind rattling it, but the sound was too steady, too heavy. Step by step, we heard it getting closer. I grabbed a kitchen knife from our bag. My fiancé was crying, begging me not to open the door. The clanging stopped, just below the hatch. For minutes, there was only silence. We crouched in the dark, waiting. Then the hatch handle shook. Slowly, deliberately. I pressed my weight against it. The handle rattled harder, until the whole hatch banged against the floor. I thought it would rip open. Then, it stopped. For a moment, the silence was almost worse. We sat there, not daring to breathe too loudly. My hand was still gripping the knife so tightly that my knuckles hurt. Minutes passed. Then we heard it again, a low scrape. Not from the hatch, but from outside, along the walls of the tower. Whatever it was, it had climbed partway down, and now it was circling the tower, dragging something sharp along the steel supports. The sound went all the way around, slowly, like it was testing the structure. Occasionally there would be a loud clang as if it struck the ladder with its claws or hands. My fiancé whispered, "It's not leaving. It's waiting." We tried not to look out the windows, but curiosity got the better of me. I crept to one and lifted the curtain just an inch. The forest below was pitch black. But directly beneath the tower, in a clearing, I swear I saw something standing. Huge. Its head tilted upward. Just standing there. We kept the lanterns off, sat in the dark, hoping it couldn't see us. Hours dragged on. At one point, around 3:30 in the morning, The whole tower shuddered. Just once, but hard, like something had slammed against the supports. Dust shook loose from the rafters. It didn't happen again, but we knew it was still down there. Every so often, we'd hear faint shifting, or a low groan that didn't sound like any animal I knew. By around 5 a.m., exhaustion set in. My fiancé dozed off against me, while I sat there, wide awake, staring at the hatch. That's when I heard it again, the clink of the ladder. This time it wasn't climbing, it was descending. Slow, purposeful. I forced myself to peek out again as dawn light bled into the trees. Just as the first rays cut through the mist, I saw something retreating into the woods. Tall, gaunt, moving in a loping, unnatural stride. It vanished into the tree line, as if the sunlight itself pushed it away. When we finally climbed down that morning, the dirt around the base of the tower wasn't just marked with those long, clawed footprints anymore. There were deep grooves in the earth and a circle around the tower, as though it had been pacing for hours. We never reported it. Who would believe us?